Here we go. A little intro to the different types of lines that we use in engineering. In this little quiz we put together, there are 8 types of lines listed, but there's 2 that we're going to use on any of these questions. So just store that in the back of your brain. The 2 are construction lines, which construction lines are used to help guide a design, but they're not meant to be part of the finished product. So you put them in there to help drive some of your other constraints and dimensions, but then they're ignored when you actually create the feature, or you erase them if it's just on paper. So they're not meant to be part of the finished product. And also a section line. A section line is when you take an object, for example, this little container of gum. Sometimes you might want to slice it right in half so you can look inside the object and see what the dimensions and the materials are inside of there. That's called a section view, where you use a section plane to cut, actually a cutting plane, to create a section view. So what we do is the material we cut through, we put little lines through it, little diagonal lines. They're called section lines. But again, you'll see that later on, but not in this activity. The other 6 lines are all used. So let's real quick go through what they all look like. In this object here, you can see that there's a hole that goes all the way through that object. We don't know that from this view that it goes all the way through, but we can tell from this top view and the side view that the hole goes all the way through. So 1.1 is showing the center of that hole. It's called a center line. And so that would be C right here, option C for center line, showing the center of the hole. 1.2 is showing the outside edge of this object. They're typically the darkest lines on here, and those are called object lines. So anytime you have an edge of the object and you're looking directly at it, it's going to be solid and dark, and they're called object lines, which would be option E. 1.3 is showing that hole. So we see the hole right here. This is showing that it actually exists inside here and that it goes all the way through, but we can't see it. So it's called a hidden line. And they're dashed. You can see how it's dashed like that. So it's called a hidden line. That would be B. 1.4, the dimension on here is 1.5 inches. So these little arrows coming off of it are what we call dimension lines. They come from the dimension and show you where it goes to, from this side over to this side. So 1.4 would be A, dimension line. 1.5 is what's called a leader line. So it leads you from a dimension to whatever feature that it applies to. So in this case, they're talking about the diameter of that hole, and that's the diameter sign right there. But they're talking about that hole, and they're showing you the diameter is 0.13, and this leader line brings you down. Now the reality, hopefully after the Lego project, you notice that, well, 0.13 probably really isn't 0.13. It's probably 1/8, which is 0.125, but they didn't put enough sig figs on it, so it rounded up to 0.13. So hopefully you're starting to catch that. 1.6, it's this guy right here. It's called an extension line, and it extends from a dimension line down to the object line that it corresponds to. So you can see this dimension of 1.5 inches extends from here to here and extends from here down to here. So 1.6 is an extension line. Hopefully that helps you get through the rest of these questions. Good luck.